I gave a civilization the power of Viltrumites. They are super fast, very strong and nearly impossible to kill, and so I let them develop and create some technologies and wage war against each other for more than 1,000 years. This video is not about who is the strongest, but who will be able to make peace. So I spawned a man and I named him Omni-Man, obviously. I gave him all of the Viltrumites' power and traits, then I genetically modify him to make him nearly invincible. Right. Then I spawned a woman and now they have the insane task of populating the whole world. Well, they have a lot to do and so they sleep? What? Come on guys, chop, get to it. Yeah, that's better. They create a kingdom, Albion, and they have done the deed. So they both run around and sing, and then the woman, Episem, finds the cutest, tiniest little bird and kills him without any mercy to eat him. The first children are born with impronounceable name as usual, and they are not happy to sleep outside. Daddy, why no home? Shut up, kid! And then 5 children just spawn out of Episem, and that's a good thing because now they can finally work. Yeah, good job my boys. Year 25 and child labor is over. Well, that's because they are no longer children and they can work legally as adults. Come on, we have a town center to build. Year 30 and some bears appears in the village. They are scary, but the Viltrumites are nearly invincible with all them stats. And so they are torn to pieces, and then some random guy just caught fire and slowly but surely burned to its death. Year 53, a new village is created and the capital is thriving. The kingdom itself is going at a very good pace right now. People are singing, people are happy and everybody is working as they should be. In the meantime, our dear Omni-Man is writing a book about war, but I wonder if this will be useful. Okay, he seems a little bit tense. I hope nothing bad's happen. So tense in fact that later he's spamming arrows on one of his subjects and pushing him slowly but surely into the ocean. And then there is something stupid because he is still writing a book and so stuck in the animation in the ocean while still drowning. Well, anybody would have died by now, but Omni-Man is no ordinary mortal, and so he finishes the book while still drowning and just goes off the water like nothing happened. Easy as pie. Year 130 and the kingdom is nearly at 600 population, and yet there is still more space to conquer, still more ways to develop and thrive and grow, and well, we too can grow. Thank you so much for all the love and all the comments and all the subscribers you gave me for the last video. I'm giving this channel my very best and this motivates me to even go further in creation. So if you want a ticket to the rise of this channel, and so if you like what you see, like, subscribe, leave a comment because I read them all. Back to the video. A few years later, there is a veil of pink in the kingdom. This is the Age of Wonders. Colorful crowds make bubble rain and stuff, and they have the power-up effect. This is a huge stats boost as well as caffeinated. This gives a lot of speed and intelligence, and so now basically everyone is super smart and super fast. And so obviously there is a lot of birth. Year 201 and there is 1200 inhabitants. With a lot of culture and a lot of books, everything is beautiful right now. Well, except for 120 or so homeless people, but I do enjoy seeing them in the need. I'm joking, I mean this is nothing compared to the overall population. This is really a good kingdom right now. 100 years later or so, and the kingdom has finally conquered the whole world. Everything is now Viltrumite. More than 2,500 people are living with each other, avoiding any war, and everybody is happy. And there is still growth to be made. But man, this video is boring. There's nothing to see, there's no drama, no war. Alright, so you want some drama. You want some death, don't you? You want the fires of war. You want to see people screaming in agony. Yeah. I got you. There is more and more homelessness in the kingdom. In fact, we nearly reach a boiling point. We have nearly 33% of the population without a house. And now the situation is critical because the kingdom can't expand its borders. The only solution is to build upgraded houses. But this is complicated. Because with the population ever rising, you can't keep upgrading the houses. And so there will be more and more homelessness. And I mean, you can't send them to another country, there is no other country. Wait, no, don't take this out of context, alright? Anyway, The homeless are getting more numerous by the day, and they will be less and less happy because they sleep outside, and so sadness will turn to anger, and anger might turn to agitation. And then what happened, do you think? Oh yeah, that's right, some beautiful things are about to happen. And this, my friends, might be just sooner than you think. Anyway, for now, the year is still 300 and so, and Omni-Man is 69 intelligence. Anyway, he's the richest man ever, like he beat the capitalism game. He is the chosen one, he has the most children, and he's also the happiest. Whatever you do, Omni-Man is simply better, he's mugging you. Year 500 and there is 3,000 people in the kingdom. But then there is a veil of red on the kingdom. This is the age of chaos, in which half the population is homeless. Dangerous situation, especially with the red rain who turns the people into, let's say, raging monsters. In fact, the trait rage adds a chance to unleash the inner demons. And so does the Viltrumite have any grief? Not that much, but Omni-Man, as you know, he has a bit of a temper. And so, with about 100 of other people, he abandoned the kingdom of Albion and gained a new trait. Madness. There is now an open war between the rebels and the other Viltrumites, and they seem invincible, but a town declared war on Albion. And the leader of this rebellion is none other than Lichin, one of Omni-Man's own children. And even if she's crazy, she chose to follow her father against the kingdom, and she will pay dearly. Sandid, who took the crown after Omni-Man, has been killed. He was also a child of Omni-Man, brother of Lichin. And now you have two sides in this war, the one who are with Omni-Man and those who are just crazy and killing at random. And this is a carnage. At some point I even see fire, and then I understand they have unlocked the evil staff. So fire is pouring, and then we can see Omni-Man has died. After nearly 500 years, the very first king has succumbed to madness. Maybe he lived too long, forgetting the time when he ran across the fields with his wife, innocent and happy, far, far gone. Instantly, the former troops of Omni-Man starts going crazy and attacking everywhere. This is now an open war. Some boats are brought in and they are raining fire down the villages, but sadly some citizens are catching fire and try to extinguish themselves by running into the water. The rebellion is rapidly crushed, and the new king, Leonard, is one of Omni-Man's own children. And he's also killed during the war, and finally every single one of Omni-Man's followers is killed. Albion is free. The new queen is named Claudide, and she was one of the anti-Omni-Man clan, and this war has been bloody. There was a ton of death. More than 1,000 were lost during only 4 years. You thought this was over? No. This is only the beginning. Because in the following years, the demons and other creatures that roam around during the Age of Chaos can't kill the Viltrumites. And so Mother Nature found the best way to kill a Viltrumite, because they are so much stronger that only another Viltrumite can kill them. And so, during the Age of Chaos, hundreds upon hundreds of people killed each other during the war. They fell to madness, to rage, and there was countless wars, one succeeding the other, and so on. And because of the evil staffs who shoot fire, everything was burned to the ground. Some managed to jump into the water, but many fell to their death. The kingdom is crazy. I even found someone who was happy because he killed someone. Kingdom is in ruin, and the imperial palace, once the jewel of the kingdom, is now burned to the ground. But thankfully, year 600 and the sun is coming back, the air is fresh, and this is now the age of hope. The interface that shows the catastrophe and death shows too many. Everything happened between the year 500 and 600. In the beginning there were 3,000 people and now merely 2,000. Before there was only 500 deaths a year and now there is 3,000. The Queen Claudide is back at home, thinking about what happened. Meanwhile, the people are running in the fields and trying to rebuild as they can. The town center is back to being a colorful place. The houses are big again. However, a few remain small, a vestige of the war that happened. But things are getting better. A few years later, and I see a random guy on the coast, swearing at me. So I take him aside and punish him with the laser. Yeah, that will teach him, and he survived. Okay, maybe a few bombs? Oh, come on, how do we kill a Viltrumite? They are truly invincible. Okay, this is personal now. How about a few meteorites and some bombs and stuff? Finally, the coast is burned and the guy is dead. A few years of peace later, and the population has reached an all-time high. They even went above the glass ceiling of before the war, and for now everything seems to be fine. The Viltrumites are good right now. But then there is some ice around. This is a crude winter, this is the Age of Ice. Age of Ice? This does not seem that terrible. I mean, people are what, getting frozen and then they survive? Yeah, ooh, terrible. I mean, my audience want the true age, the one with death and despair, like the Age of Chaos, the Age of Despair, the Age of Ashes. Age of Ice? Really? What is this? The Age of Snowmen? Come on. Claudette died, the queen of the kingdom has been slain, and the reason is, well, because this is the Age of Ice, there are still people afflicted with madness, fighting each other. There is as well some disasters. There is an earthquake a few years later, and even then back to back another disaster. Weirdly, more and more people are hungry, and even some are starving to death. And the reason is quite simple, and this is because the Age of Ice. You see, cold prevents the crops from being gathered, and so the fields are empty and the food storage is also going to end soon. There is already 500 deaths because of that. Well, I mean, there is 6,000 deaths because of fire and everything. And so in the kingdom, many are dying, many are crazy. And so a new kingdom declares independence and attacks Albion. Women and children try to flee as they can, and we can see a group of child running away, but sadly, war catches them. They catch fire and they try to extinguish themselves. Too late. The war is very brutal, and we went to 1,000 against 400 to nearly 700 against 200. And finally, after 30 years of war in the year 800, Albion finally crushes the rebellion and ends the war. And the Ice Age lasts until the year 904. The snow melts and the sun comes back. Before the war, there were nearly 3,000 people, and now there is only 700. There was nearly 7,000 deaths in 200 years, either by fire, either by starvation. They lost nearly everything, but can they make it in less than 100 years? Well, I decide to let the years go by and see directly in the year 1000. 3,000 people, they came back to what they were before. Sure, there were some heights and lows and heights and lows, and finally now, what seems to be a stable kingdom. It seems like the Viltrumites, even though they lost some kings and wars, were always able to adapt and overcome the difficulties, and they now have a rich history of falling but rising up to the occasion and shining again. Maybe now the future generation will understand that no matter how hard the situation can be, you always have to fight if you want a good kingdom, and that only can be achieved with everlasting peace. Subscribe!